But I still hold 2019 Field Trainer of the Year for the company. I earned the Ladies of Justice Award. So I'll still claim 2019. So pass my trophy over to, but I'm just joking. Earned a 1,000 production app award. I've personally written over 1,000 personal memberships, and a Sapphire Business Solution Sapphire Elite Associate and Special Forces Associate in the Small Biz Division of the company. And just love to help people. And so if we could be of assistance to you, don't hesitate to reach out. I do host the accountability call on Thursday evenings at 9:30. The registration for that is under announcements. So if you want to register for that, it's under announcements. And you'll get an email on Thursday evenings to that. That's more of a mastermind call. It's accountability, so we don't record it. It's accountability, so we look for you to show up every week. But those that have been devoted to it, we're coming up on a year. Those individuals are really doing some phenomenal things in the field. So kudos to them, and I'm just thankful to be able to serve the market. So with that, I pass it over to Randy.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be on the call. I appreciate everyone on here, and it's my pleasure to help and do whatever I can do to help each and every one of you. I started working LegalShield in 2008. Been on it for about 12 years now. We started focusing on CDL in January of 2019. We earned the $50,000 ring, and we've sold over 1,000 personal apps, nearly 2,000 now. And I have a little bit of a team. I work all areas of the business, of course. Before I started pushing on CDLP in January, I had done a lot of small business. And so the new small business plans they've come out with are great, guys. Y'all take the training and learn about those, because they can help you in this arena to be part of your groups whenever you're working in the trucking industry. So with that, I've been honored to work with Lamar and Robert and everyone on the call. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Lamar.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Randy. And I'm Lamar Reynolds out of Houston, and I've been with LegalShield for 14 years. I've been a trainer for 10, and hopefully we'll be able to do some live trainings coming up soon. And I've been selling the CDLP membership for about 11 years. And as Sherranda said, I get up every morning and I go out and I call on trucking companies and I work with truck drivers. And today I got a call from a company in California. And I said, I just have to ask you, how did you get my name? Well, it was a member that I sold in Houston, and he works for that company in California, and he gave them the company my name, and they called me because one of their drivers got a ticket. So it's just amazing how the networking works within transportation. And I've sold over 5,000 memberships at the beginning of last year. I'm part of Special Forces and part of the Solution Emerald Elite. And by selling the CDLP membership and running in the lane of transportation, I've been able to get my 50,000 K ring and also the 100,000 K ring. And it's just a lot of fun selling transportation. And I believe it was Sharon that called me on Friday, Sharon Holiday, I think it was her, that was needing some information on a operating authority of a company. I just happened to be sitting with D.O.T. officers, and so it was just perfect when she had asked me that question. So it's exciting business. I'll just say that, and I'll turn it back over to Mr. Robert.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, good stuff. All right, so Robert Dunbar here. Thank you guys for joining us once again. Thank all the trainers for being on. We hope that you're able to get some great information off this. Sorry for us having some technical difficulties. We had some stuff going on in the background that we were talking about before you guys got on. So I've been with the company 11 years. I have been a trainer for about 6 years, CDL trainer for going on 3 years. And like the rest of the trainers, like, really just love helping the field understand what it means to be in this space, and what it means for the truck drivers to have this kind of protection, understanding the industry, understanding how we sell this to them, because it's different than selling the family and identity theft plan. This is why we want to be here every Monday, so we can give you real-time information on what's happening, not only in the industry, but what's happening with the company as far as how our plan is operating. That way you've got all sides of it. And then you get your certification trainings once a month, your refreshers once a month with Alan and Chris, until we can get out there and do some more live trainings in your area. And for the new people who've never taken a live training, you're going to have a lot of fun with the live trainings in your areas when we do get those started back up, when this pandemic slows down just a little bit. So we're here to help. We're excited to help. I don't know about that field training deal Sherranda talking about. She might get it again. I'm not sure who's going to take it from, because there ain't been too many of us in the field. But we've been doing what we can to help you guys via Zoom, and doing all of these different DM meetings over the phone with your people to make sure that we can continue moving in this space. And there's money to be made in this space, and there's memberships to be sold. I know I saw a post earlier where Alan Roman just got Platinum 2 Executive Director, and I know that this is the space that he's in. So just kind of buckle up. We're going to get some information first on a new handout that Randy has posted on the page. So whenever we start the call off with Randy Hooker talking about a sheet that he's probably going to pull up and share a screen, just keep in mind that the sheet that he's sharing on the screen, he has already posted on the Facebook page. So you can go there and go in the file section or find it, or just scroll down where he's put it, and you can click it and download it right from there. And then we're gonna be going over some things that you should be doing right now in the field as a newly certified CDLP associate, or one that's taking a refresher course, and you're saying, hey, look, I'm ready to go right now. I'm ready to move forward. We're going to talk about some things you can do, and we like to do that right after a certification training for the people who are really opening their eyes up to this for the first time. So I'm going to go ahead and turn over to Randy Hooker so he can start talking about the sheet that he has, and then we'll all chip in after that to talk about some things you should be doing right now. So Randy Hooker.
All right. Well, I'm going to share this with y'all. This is a sheet that I put on the deal, and Miss Jody helped find this, and I sort of redid it a little bit, and I've highlighted. Y'all's copy won't be highlighted, but I will put this one that I've highlighted back on there, because guys, there is tons of information that your safety directors need to know here. The drivers and carriers and the medical officers and stuff could be fined up to $5,833 for each violation anytime they break the provisions of the Clearinghouse, Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse. And what is that? In other words, each one of your safety officers and companies now has to contact the Drug Clearinghouse and check out a driver. The driver also has to put his information on the Drug Clearinghouse. So it's under the second highlight here, 49 CFR Part 328 Subpart G of the Federal Code regulation. It says that they have to register with the Drug Clearinghouse, and if they don't, or if the employer hires them without checking to find this out, they can be fined. And the fines were about $2,500 for not paying attention to this in '86, but it changed every year since 2015. It's been adjusted, but this is the last ruling that just come out Monday or what have you, and a week ago Monday, not today, but last Monday, it come out that from now on, Just like one example, a clearinghouse provision would be an employer accessing a driver's record from the database without getting proper written authority to do that from the driver. So there's several ways that they can be fined or what have you, but as of December 1st, there have been 162,485 employers, 1,599 medical officers, and 9,048 consortium third-party administrators have registered with the clearinghouse. And having registered, the drivers register, and so therefore, if they misuse this in any way, they can be fined. One example here was a commercial driver holder who was convicted of violating an out of service order, is suspected to have civil penalty of at least $3,230 for the first time conviction, and he can be fined double, in other words, $6,460 for the second and every subsequent connection. The safety directors in your companies, this information, I know Lamar can talk a little bit more about this or whatever, but this is information that is dire to them about these fines, because that's something they've got to watch out for if they do things that are wrong. Like I said, y'all be sure to change your name at the bottom. It is just a regular Word document that can be changed by anybody. I don't lock it. And of course here, the next example was an employer's CDL holder who knowingly allows or requires the employee to operate a commercial vehicle during any part of that CDL holder is subject to an out of service penalty fine. And theirs can be from that $5,833. Their fine can go all the way up to $32,297. Lamar, can you add some more to this? I know that this can be devastating to small trucking companies, especially.
Everybody that's on this call here tonight should go to Facebook, and Robert can tell you where it's located. You should print this out, because this country is just full of little small trucking companies, 8 to 10 to 15 to 25 drivers in it, that does not even have a clue about what Randy was just talking about the clearinghouse. And these fines, the federal government is going to have a heyday on these small companies and these violations that they're going to be levying against these companies. So, Sherranda, as you're prospecting out there, selling the small business plan, you need to be talking to them about the clearinghouse, because this is really a serious matter. Now, to kind of give you a little background in this, in the fall of 2019 is when they started, drivers could log in and set up their account and start entering information. And then on January the 6th, 2020, was the implementation of this new program. The mandatory reporting began of both electronic and manual inquiries started to happen. And so as of January the 6th, 2023, that'll be 3 years of data that is in this. And this has turned out to be a really, I don't know, it's going to be a serious thing for trucking companies to make sure they get into this information and understand it, because if not, there's going to be some major fines. So the driver is required to log into the clearinghouse and provide electronic consent before an employer can conduct a full query of the driver's clearinghouse record. So it's the same way as the CSA points. The driver's got to sign off on that because that's a federal record. Well, he has to sign off on this for a company to check him out. Okay. Number two, if a driver goes in and does a drug test, that medical review officer is required to report that positive results on a drug test within 2 business days. They've got to report that into the clearinghouse. Okay, and I'm gonna try to make this document I'm looking at available to Robert so he can post that. And then on the substance abuse professionals will be required to report to the clearinghouse, and the initial driver assessment is completed when the driver is determined to be eligible for the RTD testing. And they have to do that by the close of the business day following the date of the initial assessment. So you can see the federal government has, they have got some real close time frames on companies reporting this information. The driver has got to do his part. The medical review office that actually conducts the test, they have to do their part within 2 business days. And so a driver or company's got to report it to the same agency. So this thing is turning out to be, we've been really talking about the CSA and all the requirements on it. Well, this is another component of reporting and transportation. And this past week on Friday, I happened to be meeting with some D.O.T. officers and some transportation consultants, and I showed, and actually there was a Texas DPS presenter that was there from Austin. And Mr. Randy, I handed this lady your sheet that you got on the screen there, and boy, she looked that over. She said, "Yes." I said, "I'm not real familiar with the federal fines, but we have some real strict guidelines for the state." So she was excited to get this piece of paper. So what I'm saying to everybody on this call, you need to print this off. This is another document that you can walk in that will actually open the door at a prospect or your current customer to present information. But I have a 3-page document here that this lady gave me from, she's part of the Texas DPS on the Clearinghouse, the FMCSA, which is federal. And so I will share this with Robert, and he can post this, because this little 3-sheet document is really easy to read and to the point. So, Mr. Randy, I just wanted to add those pieces to it, because this thing is starting to really come into focus, and the federal government is going to get it really focused with fines that is unbelievably high. And one of the D.O.T. officers was talking about these new fines that they just issued. He said there was a website you could go to, and I remember looking at it a few months ago, which gave the new fines, and they went up like 20 or 30%. And so the Clearinghouse, in that it's brand new, as Randy was just indicating, most of the other, it started off at $2,500. Well, Clearinghouse didn't start off at $2,500. They started off at $5,833. And these consultants that I was meeting with on Friday felt that this was going to be a major issue for the smaller trucking companies. So, FYI, they need our service. The drivers need our CDL program, and these companies need our small business plan to help them with all of these issues that's going to be coming up. So I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Randy.
I appreciate it, Lamar. That's all I have, really. I'll turn it back over to Robert, and I'll stop sharing, but I will go in. I'll put this one in the files section also, so that it's highlighted with all of the different areas and stuff for people. So that'll help people.
I'm gonna chime in here. For for a lot of the associates that's on the phone, I know your companies probably are small companies, which is great. And the drug clearinghouse really didn't really be a big deal for the small, like, one-man companies and two-man companies. But the changes that have been made, and this document here, because it's been a big deal coming up to 2021. A lot of the companies were preparing themselves to handle this. So for the individuals that's on the phone, on Zoom, for those companies that you're talking to, especially if they're small companies, like I know a lot of people that I work with, the companies are small. This document here is your key to a conversation. And so you want to make sure that if you don't do nothing but say, hey, my name is, and I just want to share this with you, just giving them the information so they can be aware of. And it was a question in the chat, did Riggs and Abney know about this? Of course they know about it. It's part of transportation, and it's a big deal right now. And so, for your drivers, like Pat said, she couldn't repeat anything Lamar and Randy just said. Have them to use their plan so they can get these questions answered about the clearinghouse, because it's a big deal, whereas it used to not be a big deal. So, for the small companies. And so I know a lot of people on here are conversating with that 1 or 2 man company. Make sure you have this document that Randy has, and he's going to put the highlighted part on there. So now you can show them and they can read the highlighted parts. And if they don't understand, tell them we have a transportation law firm that can assist them with that. So just for the new people that are on here, go to the Facebook page and make sure you pull that down, because that's a conversation piece for you to just introduce yourself and have some conversation with your prospect.
One other thing, Mr. Randy, did you read that first bullet point down at the bottom of that page about an out of service on a driver?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody on this phone call, when a driver goes through a scale house or pulled over on a roadside inspection and they put them out of service, what Randy was just talking about, if they violate that out of service, go down to that first bullet point and you will see that's $3,230 on the first offense. And if it happens twice, it's $6,460. So these fines are getting very big. And this is even more reason why a driver needs our CDLP program. You're going to see fines going up in the federal government on these tickets that these drivers are getting. So, you can't play around. There's not too many drivers out there that's got $3,200 in the bank or $6,500 in the bank. They would be working out a payment schedule with the court to pay this fine. So, and also, the second bullet point down there also holds the company responsible. I believe in here, the employer of the CDL holder knowingly allows or requires an employee to operate a commercial vehicle during a period in which the CDL holder is subject to an out of service, is subject to a civil penalty of $5,833 all the way up to $32,297. And that's on Mr. Randy's page 2. It's the second little bullet point down at the bottom. So this gives you some great information, as Sherranda was just talking about. You could just go to the bottom of this page and start right there. and you would have that company's full attention, and then you could bring it full circle to our program and how our program could really intervene, one, for the driver, and then two, for the company. So this thing on the clearinghouse that Randy submitted today is just an excellent document to use. Back over to you, Robert.
All right, so we got some questions. We want to get some things cleared up here. So if one of us can pull the questions up, and let's try to get a couple of them cleared up. I know, Sherranda, sometimes you're answering them in the chat while they're coming through. Is there any ones that need to be answered verbally here, Sherranda?
Well, Katina was asking about, can the safety director call? No, your goal is, the plan is for the driver. So, you know, you sell the driver and the driver can call. Now, your goal is like to do, if you're talking to the safety director, you know, that's part of your DM, just having conversation with the DM. You know, you can't, you know, pick up the phone and get the attorneys on the phone for that. I mean, you want to ask the question? Go ahead and ask the question.
Yeah, I maybe wasn't clear enough. Can the safety director call Riggs Abney about this clearinghouse thing?
No, I mean, no, the driver has to have the plan. That's who needs the plan, the driver.
Okay.
And
If
If they have the small business plan, they won't call Riggs Abney though.
they call the state.
so I'm just wondering where a safety director would get his questions answered. You
would share this information and encourage them that you know, well, if the safety manager is not the owner, then he you know, maybe you need to talk to the owner to sell the business plan.
So those documents that Lamar is posting and Randy, those are all the information that's available. Those are complete with a full information.
It'll
Well,
give
I
you
mean-
enough. It'll give you enough information, Katina, to spark their interest in our program. And to find out the full stuff about the clearinghouse, they need to do their own due diligence. These articles will bring up enough question in their mind, and that's what you're trying to do is put enough question in their mind that our service would be very valuable to them. And that's what these documents are for, to help you as an associate be able to hold an intelligent conversation about it enough that they would then see the value in our program.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Hey, something else too, Katina, just so you know, and this is just sales. It doesn't matter whether it's CDLP or, you know, what product you're selling for whatever reason. LegalShield, LegalShield, the legal plan. When we have these kind of documents and things like that, it's really meant to spark a conversation. Believe me when I tell you, that safety director, it's in their best interest to understand this stuff. And they really don't expect you to have the answers to that stuff, because this is all government stuff. Like, this is all things that's coming down the pipeline for their industry. They're going to look into that stuff themselves. You're kind of just bringing it to their attention. Like, hey, are you aware of that? Blah, 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 blah. Here's a flyer. Take a look at it. They know what sites to go to and things like that. Plus, there's probably some links on the thing that form that Randy has uploaded. So, like, I don't want you to feel like you need to be like, don't feel like you can't talk to them. Mention it because you don't have the knowledge that you just heard Lamar or Randy say. You don't need to say that stuff. Like you don't need to have that full conversation with the safety director. You just need to let them, you know, push the flyer off. So when I used to do live training, I used to tell people, like, if you have the sheet, the CDLP sheet, the flat sheet for the plan, and you are a brand new associate that got certified 2 weeks in, and you were talking to a safety director, when that safety director is saying, well, what does your plan do? Let's say Katina doesn't really fully know everything the plan does because you heard it once or twice, but you haven't memorized it yet. You're just going to spin that bad boy around and put it in front of them and say, hey, here's everything that the plan does. I would suggest you take a look at it. so that you can understand exactly how to protect your drivers. You see what I mean? They know how to read. They know what those certain things mean, violations, citations, all that. They can read that and see what that means. So you don't really have to explain that. It's really just kind of a door opener for you.
Okay.
So use it that way. Hey, have you, go ahead. Somebody trying to talk? Is that Randy or Lamar?
I was going to say, I noticed that Christine is on. She may be able to give some information on that too.
Just unmute yourself, Chris. Oh, hold on too. Let me, because I may need to make her, let me, because I saw her on there, but I didn't make her co-host. Hold on, Chris. Give me 1 second.
Chris, I think I just unmuted you.
Yeah, I'm good. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So I made your co-host. You good now?
Okay, so just if you could reiterate the question, that would be great, because I got kind of lost in the last 10 seconds of that conversation. Sorry.
Katina, the young lady Katina was asking, she didn't like the clearinghouse changes that are happening right now. She was saying, can the safety director pick up the phone and call Riggs Abney to ask questions about that? And Sherranda's response was, the safety director can't because they don't have the plane. The drivers need to call about that if they have an issue. So that was kind of what we were answering, but you go ahead, give some feedback.
Right. Well, I'm just going to give you the straight answer is the safety director cannot call because they don't have the plan. Now, if they're a driver and they have the plan, they can call and ask all the questions they want. As far as the transportation side of things, whether it's Clearinghouse or anything else. But if you all look at my camera, I'm going to tell you what has happened in the past. And I'm not saying this because, you know, it's what Christine says. I'm just telling you what I've heard is that if the driver, let's say Randy's the driver, and the owner or the safety director calls and says that this happened to Randy, that the infractions or whatever they are has happened to Randy, and he's got some questions pertaining to that. Can Riggs Abney answer those questions? Look at my face. No. Okay. It's happened in the past, and the answer is no. As long as the driver has the plan, they cannot call on behalf of the company. Okay, I've been told that that's happened, and usually they'll answer a couple of questions, but not like, they won't have like full conversations like we can have with the attorneys. And then if there's any, I know that in the past it's not contracted either, and I'm just telling you all from experience, it's not contracted, but there has been some instances where the company has been cited, and as long as their drivers have the service, the company can call and get services at a 25% discount. But that does not happen often. The same. And if I hear anybody say that Christine said, the recording does not exist.
Oh, that is too funny. That is too funny. So Sherranda, is there some more questions in there that we need to tackle like out loud, or is this, you already kind of answered it in the chat?
I do have one more thing to add to that, and I'm sorry, Sherranda. On our small business plans, unfortunately, they will not answer transportation related questions. Unfortunately, they don't know transportation law. They know business law. So they'll help with business related issues, not transportation related issues. So unfortunately, if they want a business attorney for transportation issues, it's not going to happen, unfortunately. Okay, Robert, sorry about that.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. That's what we want. We want input. We want feedback. Sherranda, anything you see in there that we need to address, or has it been being answered?
Let's see. It's okay. So should the safety director purchase? The safety director can't purchase the plan. So I want to ask: should the safety director purchase the CDLP plan? No, unless they have a CDL, unless they have a commercial license, they want to purchase it. Activities. Can you speak on what is the best? who company CSA points are 75. So they're talking about other stuff like the CSA points. They're not talking about the clearinghouse. Says, can you speak on what is best verbiage for safety director who company CSA points or 75% vehicle maintenance? So Lamar.
So Lamar, if you're talking to a company or approaching a company and you pulled your safety score and you see 75% of the OSS is vehicle related as opposed to driver related, what verbiage would you use? Really, any trainer that wants to tackle it.
Well, you want to adjudicate that ticket. So, you know, it just gets back to the membership of selling that membership. Our program handles all kinds of different vehicle issues, hours of service, all of that. So, you know, the CDLP program, and I say this often on this call, is a ticket program. That's what I call it. It's a ticket program. So you can actually use that program when you have a ticket. All right. So, and really our program is not designed like Christine was saying for you to call in like on the legal plan and just ask a bunch of questions. It's designed from 8:30 to 5 o'clock to call in and submit the ticket, because then the ticket is referred out to a transportation attorney who can adjudicate that ticket. That's what that program is designed for. The legal plan is to handle legal issues. And in that program, yeah, you can call 24/7 and ask those type of questions. So like Mr. Randy was talking about on the clearinghouse, if a driver has violated a out of service order and he gets a ticket on that, which is a bad ticket. I mean, you go through a scale house and he says, okay, pull that truck over there. I'm putting you out of service until you get the brakes adjusted on your truck. Okay, you're out of service. Well, he goes down the road about 5 miles and he's sitting on the side of the road. Guess what? In about 10 minutes, here comes this 18-wheeler. Well, he's going to pull him over and say, hey, man, did you get the brakes? No, I didn't. Well, he violated the out of service. Now he's in real trouble. He's got a ticket for brakes out of adjustment. Now he's got a ticket for violating the out of service order, which is, as we see here, about $3,230 fine. So that's a serious violation there. So this is where our program, ladies and gentlemen, these drivers just need to be in the program to protect them. Okay.
So Lamar, let me role play with you real quick. So I'm a safety manager. You came to my company. You did the regular script. And for those that don't know what script, when I say regular script, the Lamar Reynolds script is on the Facebook page. You can go to the file section and pull up the Lamar Reynolds script and you'll see the general script. So we're not going to go over that for the second time. But Lamar walks in, he does his Lamar Reynolds script. The safety manager comes out because the person at the front desk or whoever's there when Lamar walks in, asks him what he wants. He does the script. Here comes the safety manager. Lamar finishes the script on the safety manager. Hey, this is my deal. That safety manager, now I'm the safety manager, Lamar's being Lamar, and I say, hey, look, I heard of programs like that before. And what I need to find out from you is, you know, most of our issues are the vehicle issues. I mean, our drivers are driving pretty good. We keep getting violations and citations because of our vehicles. Do you guys help with that?
Oh, yeah. And so, as you know, I'm going to do a little background work on prior to making that call. And I've gone into the safety stats of that company and I've pulled it up. And sure enough, there are a lot of violations related to the vehicle. Okay. I mean, usually and most all the companies, that's where equipment violations is the biggest one. Lights, brakes, and tires. Those are number 1, number 2, and number 3 tickets at any company you want to pull up on the safer and look at. Yes, our program can help in that area. Okay. We may not get them all dismissed, but we can adjudicate that ticket. There's all kinds of ways of getting tickets dismissed, but those tickets can be adjudicated through the CDLP membership at LegalShield, and they need that program to help because, as you know, you can't remove the points unless you adjudicate the ticket, unless you fight the ticket. You're going to be guilty as charged. And so before you put the key back in the ignition of that truck and pull it back on the road, the CSA points are in the driver's record and in the company's record. And I hate to say it this way, but you're guilty until proven innocent. And the only way you can change that with a dismissal, not guilty, or reduced to a lesser charge, you got to adjudicate that ticket to do that. And that's what the CDLP program is all about. And if you're on this call here tonight, that's the beauty of our program. That is the good news of the CDLP program, is reversing those points. And Robert, as you know, sir, if it reverse on the driver, it comes off the company safety stats as well. That's what your customers can view, and it's what your insurance rates are based on. So that's the beauty of our program. It really helps the driver, and indirectly in helping the driver, it helps the company. So this thing is threaded all the way back. And when you start talking in that language, you've got that safety director or the owner of that company, you've got his full attention, because insurance rates this past year have went through the ceiling. Just unbelievably how much they've gone up. So,
Lamar, can you fix anything that's already on my record? Like, I already got bad stuff on my record. We're doing bad. I didn't know about you guys until just now. So what about the fact that our record is already jacked up? Can your program help us with all the stuff that's already on it?
I had a company out of California ask me that question this afternoon. He wanted me to clean up some issues. I said, well, number one, has he gone to court? If it has not gone to court, yeah, we can help on that. So if it hadn't been adjudicated, we can do that. But if he has paid that ticket, that case is closed. All right. Number three, if he's adjudicated the ticket, he's got an order of dismissal, but it hadn't been filed. And I have some drivers that is the case. Once I've gone to that company and told them about our program, there'll be a few drivers that come up and say, hey, Mr. Reynolds, last year I got a ticket dismissed. I can't remember the attorney's name, some attorney that he hired, and he got the ticket dismissed. Can I still get those points off my record? Sure can. Call the court and they will email or fax you the order of dismissal. Bring that in to your safety director. He can file the data queue. Now he's in year 2. Okay. So the points are not as much to remove now because they have reduced. But you can still, for a driver, you can file that paperwork up to 3 years on the driver. And actually the company, it's 2 years on the company. So the best time to file the data queue paperwork is the first 6 months. And most tickets are adjudicated within 30 to 60 days. Even if you got a reset, that's probably within 60 days of getting that ticket. And so if that is adjudicated, it's at the highest point level. And that's when you want to get these things reversed.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Sure.
So I hope that helped everybody who asked that question, because I know that question comes up a lot. Any Chris or Randy or Sherranda, you guys see any questions that need to be answered? Anybody have any input before we close out?
Can I do a verbal question real quick, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, going back to that drug clearinghouse, that's only for the base, not only, but let's say if a company purchase that and would they be able to protect the driver, or the driver has to purchase that clearinghouse? You understand what I'm saying? That was from conversation earlier that the driver has to make the phone call if it's, do the violation of each, whatchamacallit?
If
Oh,
his,
I'm just gonna make it real simple for you. Randy, was you gonna answer?
well, go ahead, Lamar. I was going to say
I'll just make it, you don't have to involve the clearinghouse. Okay, in
Right.
terms of the driver. If he gets a ticket, okay, and the DOT issues a ticket or however he gets a ticket,
Mhm.
it goes against the CDL. That's all you need
Right.
to know.
Right.
Then the
Right.
driver can call Riggs and Abney and present that ticket. And Mr. Fred there, he'll look at that and say, yeah, we can adjudicate that. He'll let you know. He'll look it over. He will advise on that driver on that ticket. So
Mm,
you don't have to get all into this clearinghouse. We're just giving you this information so you could share as a door opener for the company, okay, as a prospect. And there's a lot of little small companies out there. I'm telling you, there's a bunch of drivers out there that has not registered with the clearinghouse, and there's a lot of little small companies that know nothing about the clearinghouse. And so there's a reason we're bringing this up tonight, because the federal government, as Mr. Randy just indicated, $5,833 fines on each violation. Wow. Now, here's the thing, folks. Here's a little company with 10 drivers, and they hadn't registered, they hadn't met the federal guidelines, that company can be fined $5,833 on each of the 10 drivers. That's how severe that is. And so what we're just opening the eyes of that company to let them know who we are and that we have a program for the driver. Okay.
I got it. Okay.
Just keep it simple. Just keep it simple.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Mostly these documents, guys, most of these documents are for you to be able to be a consultant to that company and let them understand that you care about their industry and that you know what's going on in it. And this is the reason that you just wanted to make sure that they understand that they're up on the clearinghouse, because like Lamar said, there's some of them that won't even have knowledge of the clearinghouse. Well, you've brought that to their attention. Now they look at you more favorably as a consultant to their business, not just a salesman coming in to sell them something.
That makes sense. Thank you very much for the info.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, any of the other trainers, but I just saw a question here concern from our June. My understanding is in the best interest for that company to have a good relationship with their drivers, because if that driver leaves that company after getting a ticket or gets fired or whatever the case may be, whatever happens with that driver, they're no longer employed with that company. There's not a whole bunch that company can do to get those points off if that driver doesn't go to court, fight it, and get the order dismissal over to the trucking company safety director to get it off their record. If they don't get it cleared off the driver's record. Is that the case, Lamar, Randy, Sherranda, Chris, whoever? So
this starts to get a little complicated, but here a driver moves from company A to company B. He got the ticket at company A, and now he's over at company B. If he's in our program and he left company A, we're still going to adjudicate that ticket. We don't care which company he works for, okay, if he's in our program. But company B will file the data queue paperwork for him, probably, just to keep that driver's record clean, to keep it cleaner. So most companies will do that, even though the ticket was issued at a different company, but that will help the first company. And this company from California asked me that question too. Yeah. So it gets kind of sticky out there. So you have to watch the way you answer these questions. But most companies, wherever this driver is working, they will try to help that driver in any way they can. And so if that driver happens to walk in there with an order of dismissal, that safety director will probably file the paperwork for him just to clean his record, because he's working for company B. But actually it clears his record as a driver, and then it comes off the record of company A at the same time. Hopefully everybody followed my thinking on that. So that's the way this thing works. But, you know, he asked me today, he says, Mr. Reynolds, can I get you to adjudicate a ticket for a driver? And he's gone to another company, but I want to get that off my company's record. Well, there's no way. I said, well, look, yeah, if he hadn't gone to court and he's within the timeline to go to court, as long as that driver will enroll in my program and he's working for another company, okay, then we can adjudicate that ticket. And if we get a dismissal, not guilty or reduced charge on that, I'm sure those points can come off of your record. But it's the driver that's got to enroll in the program. So just remember that.
And Lamar,
Here tonight, the driver enrolling in the CDLP membership, that's where the whole thing starts, with a violation ticket out there.
So Lamar, if the driver for company A has an attorney through LegalShield and they get it taken off their record and I'm now with company B, like, how does company A know that that driver has done that? What if the driver doesn't ever communicate with the safety director, doesn't give them an order of dismissal? Is there a way for the company to get it taken off their record once the driver got it taken off his, even if he doesn't make them aware of that?
Well, Robert, when that ticket is adjudicated and wherever that driver may be, if that safety director, or he can get Riggs and Abney to do the data queue. Fred's got a few companies out there that do the data queue. And regardless of where he's working, it comes off the driver's record, and it'll come off of company A, company B, or company C, wherever that ticket originated. It's going to come off of their record automatically. As you know, sir, it will come off the company's record automatically.
But the driver has to get his certification from the court before any of it'll happen.
That's right. The order of dismissal. Yep.
Got you.
Yeah.
So long as that order of dismissal is filed.
That's part of the process. You got to adjudicate it. You got to get the documentation, and then somebody has to file the federal paperwork to get those points out, whether that's Riggs and Abney or whether that's safety director, or even a driver. If he knew how to do it, he could file his own data queue. But I don't want to get bogged up in all of that and trying to teach drivers how to do data queue. I mean, no. But yeah, that's
no, absolutely.
That works. Yeah.
Robert, there's a question out there talking about a ticket, how long the ticket stays on the driver's record. They're on the driver's record for 3 years and on the company's record for 2 years, unless they're adjudicated.
That's what he was just explaining about, RJ. The rest of the question, that's what Dunbar was trying to explain, the rest of the question.
That was all connected. What Randy was
right.
answering, what I was answering was all connected. Yeah. Yep. The next training, I think is waiting for approval. I don't know if Chris is still on. I can't see. I know we're looking at February 20th for the next training, but I believe Chris and Alan are waiting for corporate to approve it. So that's why it's not on the calendar probably.
Yeah, we're just waiting for corporate approval. That should be done later on this week once they have their executive meeting.
Okay, good stuff. All right, so we're going to be closing out here, guys. Sherranda, you want to mention your accountability call again, if you may, and any of our trainers have anything to close out with as we're leaving out, that'll be good.
Okay, I just want to say about the small biz plan. So I don't, because I want people to know that you can sell small biz and CDLP. And I sell a lot of small biz plans in transportation. because, I'm asking questions, and a lot of my sales come from debt collection and the fact that they want the protection for lawsuit coverage. When I sell small biz plans to my transportation companies, I'm doing cross-selling. So 9 times out of 10, the drivers have the CDLP plan. If the owner is a CDL driver, he has it too. So they still have access to Riggs and Abney. So I wanted to be clear that selling the small biz plan in transportation isn't necessarily selling that say they can ask all these transportation questions, because that's where the CDLP plan comes into play. So, so cross-selling is protecting that business owner for that lawsuit coverage and just for questions otherwise related that may not be transportation. But that's why cross-selling is so important, because we have Riggs and Abney who specializes in the transportation. And if you do sell the small biz, you'll realize that a lot of the state law firms don't really have a lot of transportation knowledge. And I say that because my business owners tend to dip into that law firm asking questions and realize they have to really go back to Riggs and Abney with that CDLP plan. So I just want to make that clear, because that question will come up on Thursday night about that. So, so just know that, like we talked about when we first got on, the questions that I'm asking to do that cross-selling. And a lot of that comes with that lawsuit coverage and just debt collection and consultation on business matters normally. So, and we have the accountability call. You can register for that under announcements. So if you don't register, you probably won't get the link, because the link is the same link that we use every Thursday. So I don't send out an email every week unless I see there's new people signed up. But it's at 9:30 and it's on Zoom, and it's more of a mastermind call. So you're welcome to join in, but it's accountability, so we don't record it. So if you can't get on one week, you just missed, because it's accountability. You're supposed to be accountable. So, so you're welcome to come, because those people are doing some great things in the space, like AJ and Clarence and Rose. A lot of people are opening up groups in this pandemic. So kudos to them. So, and go out and talk to them. Well, call those people on that clearinghouse, share some information with them, because those small groups, they really need it, those small companies. So that's it for me. Over to Chris.
Hey, AJ, this is Lamar. How many memberships have you sold at that big company you opened?
I have, it's 150 and counting. So, yeah, 150 and counting. And tomorrow I have 30 drivers.
And when did you open that group?
I opened it back in October.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're listening to this. Are you in the new driver orientation class?
Every week, Tuesdays and Thursday morning.
Do you sell more memberships there than you do anywhere else?
Yes, sir.
All right.
But the thing is, right now is $48.90. That's what it is. They get the CDL and the legal plan. It's very important.
There you go.
I mean, that coverage is important. So,
see,
they understand that.
If you're selling both programs, it makes it
Yes, sir.
more profitable if you do it that way. And the driver has got a real good program when you combo that.
Yes.
So, well, brother, you're doing a great job. And you know what? You're going to get better and better and better on your presentation, just like all of us trainers here. After you do that presentation a few years, I mean, you start to be really an expert at presenting that. And your success is just now starting, brother. And how many drivers do they have at that company?
They have 790.
790.
790 drivers.
790 drivers. And the churn at that company is probably about 25 to 30%. And here's the thing, AJ, you will never sell all of the drivers there.
No.
And the beautiful thing about it, drivers are leaving, drivers are coming in, and you got new memberships all the time you can sell. But anyway, I just wanted to ask that question. Just let everybody hear the success. And I remember back in October, here you were on this call learning the program, and look at you today, brother. You're awesome.
I thank the group. This is it's an important time. Monday night is an important call because I learn a lot and I pick stuff up and I use it in my presentations, and I've trained my safety directors and my safety trainers about our program, so they are endorsing it for me before I start the presentation.
Yeah.
So half the presentation is done by the trainer anyways, that you guys need this program.
Yeah. Well, you're doing exactly what Randy Hooker did about 1.5 years ago, right, Mr. Randy?
Yeah.
You came and got, learned what we were doing, and man, you took off executive director and had a couple of recruits, I think, made it up to director or safety director or executive director too, right?
They're senior manager right now.
Yeah. Robert, I know we've gone long, but anyway, I just wanted to leave this call with a good, positive ring to it. And thank you, AJ. You're awesome, brother.
AJ, when you get tired and you don't feel like servicing the group no more, you just don't know what else to do, just call me.
Absolutely.
How about that?
That's right. I do a lot of virtual too, so I'll help out too.
How about that?
Me
So, no,
too,
good stuff.
AJ.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that, everybody. Appreciate all the trainers for being on again. Thanks for joining
Hey, Robert.
us.
Robert,
Yes,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Hey, AJ, yo hablo español. So if you need help, I got the Spanish part, buddy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, AJ, yo habla español, Christina and Sharon.
You got a
AJ,
lot of
Brenda
help
got you,
being
AJ. I'm
offered,
talking
AJ.
English.
That is too funny.
Robert.
I have another company with 300 drivers, so it's like back to back, just and I have a full-time job. And I have a full-time job.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
They
good stuff.
referred you, right, AJ? You got that
What,
off
Sherranda?
a referral, right? You got that
Yes.
off a referral, right?
Yes, the second company was a referral.
Good stuff.
Oh, the second company was a referral from your big company.
Yes.
You know what? That's the way it happens. And Robert, we've talked about that on this call.
Mm-hmm.
Once you land that big company will start to refer you out. That happened to me numbers of times out there. And you'll find yourself it's really easy, AJ, at that point when they refer you out to another company to go and open that company. It's so easy to do.
Yes, even the drivers will start referring to other drivers.
Right.
That's good stuff. So for those looking for the other Zooms, guys, just so you know, if you go to the YouTube channel, if you scroll down to playlist, you'll see all of the CDLP Zoom weekly coaching events all the way from September 7th all the way up until this week. So they'll all be there when you go to the YouTube channel. So just scroll down. I have it categorized so you're not looking through all of my YouTube videos because I have videos for other things other than this Zoom. So make sure that when you go to the YouTube channel, when you go to Training by Dunbar, scroll down, you're going to see a category of playlists. And one of the playlists is going to say Weekly CDLP Coaching Zoom. And everything in there is going to be nothing but these Zooms that we do every Monday. So that's how you find them. You can also go to the Facebook page and find them too, but it's easier to find them on the YouTube page because they're categorized already. Make sure when you're on my YouTube channel, you subscribe to the channel. You'll get notifications when the trainings drop as well. So you'll see it that way as well. So we appreciate you guys joining us. We look forward to you guys being on again next week and talking with you guys and helping you guys as much as we can. And we look forward to the next certification training happening coming up here in February. Everybody have a fantastic evening and enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Thank you.
Everybody stay safe.
Night, everyone.
Good night, good night, good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Awesome training.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Sound like some abuse going on in somebody's background.
Hey, get out them folks'
Going
house.
on back there. We need to call
Great
the police.
training.
Hey, get out them people's house.
That 24 that legal playing 24 hours now. Don't forget, you got something going on over there. That legal playing 24/7. Hit that button.
Have a good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Great job, guys.
Great job.